Hello dear students, this is Modern Programming Language course, week number 5 and lecture number 1. The video agenda is we will discuss variables in Java, access modifiers. Access modifier means how we can access these variables from different classes, methods, and we will discuss the methods, classes, constructors, structure of a class, overview of objects, working with objects, and the last or maybe in the next video we will demonstrate a demo. Variables are used to store data and values. You can also call that member variables in Java language. In Java language, we have three types of variables. The one is local variables, the second one is instance variable, and the third one is class variable, or you can say static variable. The local variables are declared within the method of a class. The second one is instance variable. Instance variable are declared in the class but outside of a method. We can also use it within the constructors. Instance variable must be declared outside the methods. Okay, and the third one is the class variable. We can say static variable as well. Static variable or instance variable is only one copy that is shared by all the different objects of a class. The next one is access modifiers. Access modifiers are used to assign a specific. The second is private, protected, and default. When you assign a public or when you create a public class method variable, or when you use a public tag before the variables, class or method, then this class, method or variable will be accessible from everywhere. From everywhere means from any class, from any other methods, and from every different interfaces. Okay, and when you use the private tag, it means this class, method or variable will be only accessible within the class, because the data or the method variable are private. So private means that you cannot access these variable methods or classes outside the class. But if you create a hierarchy, in this hierarchy you have a parent class and then a child class. So if you created protected variables in the parent class, then it can be accessible from the child class only. Okay, and the default constructor no modifier required access classes, variables, method in the same package but not from the outside. Default used when you create an instance variable or a static variable. Okay, so what is classes? Classes use in object-oriented programming, everything is represented in a class form. Same as in Java, a class in Java is a blueprint which includes all the data. Okay, we have a blueprint which includes all the data, members, functions. Example of a car. So this is a class name is car. Okay, it describes the state and behavior of a specific object. The state represents the objects and behavior represent the methods. We will discuss it in the next slide. Okay, so if you want to create or declare a class using a Java program, the syntax are you have to declare that it is a public class, private class, or protected. As we discussed earlier there, if you use a public tag, it means you can access this class from the data of this class from everywhere. Okay, so this is the syntax. You have to write public. You have to write a public keyword, then a class keyword, then you have to name the class. Like in this example, we have car. car is a class name. Okay, then we have variables like color, model, price. Okay, these are the variables, and the speed up gear change is the method. Okay, if you want to create variables, so this is the syntax of creating variables. You have you have to just mention the variable name. Okay, and if you want to create a method, and we know that the methods represent the behavior, so the behavior you have to written in the speed up and then the parenthesis and semicolon. Okay, this is the syntax of creating methods within the class. Objects, it is an entity that has a state and behavior. In the previous example, if you look at the class, it's just a blueprint. Now if you want to color this class, the color is an object. Okay, the one object is color. So when you create an object of a class, it's represent of a class which can access data. Okay, objects are the entity that represent the state and behavior. For example, if you are representing object is a car, okay, yani color is an object, so this is the color of the car, and axis the data. You can change the data, that for example color orange, red, yellow, you can change it. For example model 1, 2, 3, which one is like price, and the behavior are speed up, gear change. Okay, so these are the objects. Creation of objects, we can create objects by three ways. The first one is declaration, initialization, and installation. Okay, so in declaration, variable name with the data type. Okay, if you want to create an object, if you want to declare an object, you have to mention that, for example color, so you have to mention the data type as well. For example string color, or if you want to represent a number, then you can say that int a and x and y. So during declaration you have to mention two things. One is the variable name and the other one is data type. Installation, the second way of creating objects is installation. Installation, when you installing, so you have to use the new keyword. When you use the new keyword, it's basically create memory for this objects when you use a keyword new. Okay, the last one is initialization. Call a constructor, initialize a new object. Okay, we initialize by object by constructor, so the class name and the method name must be same. Okay, objects creation. Object to a class is created by using the keyword new. Okay, this is the syntax bar creation of objects. Okay, as you know that new allocate memory for the object. When you use a new keyword, it's allocate memory to that object. This is the syntax. For example, this class name is student. Student1 is an object name. You can use anything here like x, y, z, object 1, object 2, everything, but this will be the class name. It's the keyword like class name. For example, if we have a class student, so this is the class name, it must be same. The object's name may be anything, equal new a keyword, and then again the class name and the open and close parenthesis followed by the semicolon. Okay, this is way how to create objects. Initializing an object. So initializing the object we have by constructor. The constructor store data into objects using a constructor. When you initialize object using constructor, so the constructor store the data into the object. Okay, by methods, the method. In object-oriented programming, we can call it functions. In Java program, we call that methods. Okay, the function the methods are same, just the difference just the naming difference. Methods store data into objects by invoking a method. Okay, when you return a thing, when you use a parameter or something, so when the method is invoked, the object stores the data. Reference variable store data into objects through the reference variable. We will use this by when we're talking about the inheritance or polymorphism. What is methods? Methods describe the behavior of an object. The behavior of objects. Okay, so in this example, when you create a speed up method, so in this we have public void. Public means you can access it from everywhere. Void means there is no return type. Speed up is the name of the method. And increment. Okay, and increment is a parameter. Okay, and int is a data type, increment is parameter, and we are actually we are incrementing the speed. This is the functionality of this method. Okay, so speed is equal to speed plus increment. Okay, collection of statements that are grouped together to perform an operation. This is the definition of method or function. Okay, the group of statements to perform a particular operation. For example, in this example, we have a speed which is incrementing. So the incrementing is the functionality of this method. Okay, constructors. So what is constructors? Constructor block of code used to initialize an object. For initializing the object, we use constructors. The class name and the method name must be same. Okay, must have same name of the class. Okay, if you are creating constructor of a student class, then you have to just write a method with the same name student. Okay, so this is the constructor. No return type. Remember that the constructor have no return type. Okay, automatically called when an object is created, and when you create an object, the constructor is called. Okay, these are the definitions. Type of constructor, we have two types of constructor. The one is default constructor, the second one is parameterized constructor. Okay, so the default constructor is if there is no argument. Here is an example, a constructor, and there is no arguments. You can see no arguments. When there is no argument, it's the default constructor. Compiler provide default value automatically created. Okay, and when you are talking about the parameterized, so there accept arguments like one is I and the other one is A. I is an integer data type, A is a string data type. Okay, this is a parameterized constructor. Provide different value to objects. Okay, so these are the